There are some things in Assassin's Creed that have disappeared that I wish would come back, and things that I hope don't come back. In this video, I will be talking about some of the things that I hope don't return in this franchise. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. I'm sure most people will be in agreement with me that the tailing missions in Assassin's Creed were not great at all. Most of them lasted a bit too long, with them forcing you to follow someone for several minutes. What's worse is that these kind of missions occurred multiple times in the older games, which made it even more jarring. It's just really boring walking for extremely long periods of time and doing close to nothing. The only good tailing missions were the ones that force you to stay in stealth while taking out some enemies quietly, as it was fun to interact with the stealth systems of the older games. Too bad most of them were not those kind of missions and were instead the boring walking simulator missions. I think that it is very unlikely that this kind of mission will return, as it has been barely in the franchise since Black Flag. But I can see why some people will want it to return, as part of being an assassin is following your target. If they had to bring it back, they should make the missions more focused on you using stealth to follow your enemies and not get detected by them. If they follow that formula instead of the boring walking simulator tailing missions, I'm sure people will like the tailing missions a bit more. The next thing that I hope does not return is the pointless collectibles in the games before Origins. Collectibles like the thousands of chests that you can collect or the Animus data fragments were huge time wasters in my opinion. Their only purpose was to pad out the game with meaningless content with very little value. You could argue that the chests at least provided you with money, but in most Assassin's Creed games there are much faster ways to build your income, which makes the chests feel quite obsolete. I'm glad that the newer games got rid of this mostly, but if they had to bring it back, I hope they add much less of them since it's not really meaningful content. Another thing that I hope does not return is the unplayable modern day in some games like Unity and Syndicate. A playable modern day has been a staple in the franchise for a very long time, and I hope that it always stays that way. It helps to connect both the modern day story and the story in the Animus, and it's best told through gameplay, as at the end of the day, it's a game after all. This will probably be a very difficult thing for Ubisoft to get right, as they probably did this to appease the fans who were not interested in the modern day plot. But at the end of the day, the modern day is integral to the story, so they have to include it in some way. But I'm sure Ubisoft will try to find a compromise, because that's the dilemma they are going through with this franchise right now, and I hope they understand soon that you can't please everyone no matter what you do. The optional objectives are something that I've always had mixed opinions of. Some of them enrich the gameplay by encouraging you to be more stealthy, while some of them restrict you too much in a certain style of play. I hope they don't bring back the restrictive style, as it harms your overall gameplay experience. Actually, I wouldn't really mind if they just never brought this back, as most of the objectives were over restrictive. But if they have to, I hope they bring back the ones that enrich a mission and make them more fun. Another thing they could do is give us more incentives to do these objectives, as there was not much you could get from completing them. Maybe give us more weapons or ropes, something along those lines, to make it more meaningful to complete them. So yeah, that's about it for this video. What do you guys not want to see return in the Assassin's Creed franchise? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comment section below, and with that being said, this has been 2369 Ruben signing out.